CNN faces backlash after pro-Iran regime coverage. Oh, backlash is not the word I would use. And just for full disclosure, guys, look, don't get me wrong, I love picking on CNN, but it is a little bit like low-level fruit. But yeah, no, it wasn't just CNN either. Reuters, CNN, a lot of mainstream media tried to push this narrative. It was only when the internet turned around and basically made them a laughingstock that they decided to run headlines like this. Oh, wait, now you want to cover the process. Oh, that was interesting, isn't it? But let's jump into the story. Fake news media coverage favourable to Iran dictatorship. I wonder why. CNN's recent coverage of protests in Iran have sparked outrage on social media after the liberal news outlet appeared to report only pro-regime demonstrations. Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. They didn't bother reporting about this, or all this. But don't worry, the pro-government protests were going on as well. Really? Because are you seeing this footage? Like, it's literally a case where 5 people, for example, turned up to protest for the government, and 50,000 people protest against the government. But they're saying, look at the 5 people protesting for the government. Morons. After virtually no coverage on Friday, CNN puts out an article Sunday morning originally titled Iranians Hold Pro-Government Rally, photos here and here, which got the attention of conservatives in both media and Congress. Yeah, even Ted Cruz actually reported on this, or had a shot at him, which is how I actually heard about it, but anyway. Stephen Miller wrote just incredible. No one uses my tweets in these. I feel left out. Christina Summons wrote, Dear CNN, what is happening in Iran is not Mr. Trump, but it's about Iranian liberty. John Collado, might be mispronouncing, it's almost as if CNN is rooting for the Islamo-fascist headlining in Iran. Dead silence on the protests. Yeah, kind of a point. Ted Cruz also weighed in, invoking the Sovereign Communist Party propaganda newspaper Prava in a tweet. Guys, when you've been accused of being fake news propaganda, maybe not trying to write stories that read like the Iranian Prava or the Onion. Cruz also gave the statement on Facebook calling for the US to support the Iranian people, which I fully support. I strongly support and stand in solidarity with the Iranian people who are bravely taking to the streets to speak out against their repressive, brutal government in Tehran. These protests reveal to the world that the Iranian regime would rather export and finance terror beyond its borders, especially if its terror's proxies in Syria, Gaza, Iraq, Lebanon, and Yemen, than work to meet the basic needs of its own citizens. The Iranian people want freedom and an end to Ayatollah's regime of terror. The sanctions relief provided under the disastrous Obama nuclear deal has done nothing but line the pockets of Iranians' militants, whose sole desire is to spread their hateful ideology and do everything they can to murder Americans, Israelis, and our allies across Europe and the Middle East. I urge the Trump administration to do everything possible to support these courageous protesters, and I call upon freedom-loving nations everywhere to rally behind and publicly express their support for the Iranian people. Since then, also, the Iranian government has warned against illegal gatherings after protests. I wonder which gatherings they're talking about. Although CNN is not using the more appropriate and accurate headline, the Iranian people protesting tyrannical Islamic regime across country, it's still a step in the right direction. It's giving them a little bit more credit than I'd like. To be fair, CNN's own Jake Tapper has been providing decent coverage of the Iranian protest in Saturday morning tweets and retweets. Well, okay, maybe they're making progress. Still, it's not surprising that CNN would do such a thing. Lately, they've been off their game with recent coverage, such as earlier this month when they reported on an email sent to Donald Trump Jr. offering special access to WikiLeaks documents, only for it to be revealed those documents were already out on public record. In fact, I'm actually getting word from the area that the internet in Iran has actually been cut down due to the protesting. I presume it's in some sort of attempt to sort of stop the information from coming out. But Iran cuts off internet access in several cities as mass protest continues. Several reports indicate that telecoms providers in Iran have been blocking internet access across several cities in the country as mass protests erupt in the third day in a row. Which probably explains why it's taking me so long to download a 4 meg video from that area. Thank you very much. But regardless. Among the telecommunications company was Haram Avi, mispronouncing, the primary mobile telecommunication company of Iran, as social media continues to play a pivotal role in documenting mass protests and subsequent brutal crackdowns on peaceful protesters in the country. The MTCI is considered a firmly joint held by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, and other firms controlled by the Iran Supreme Leader Al-Kamil. Kamil? No, mispronouncing there. Iran's two main internet and communication service providers are the Telecommunication Company of Iran, TCI, and Iran Cell, TCI, and its subsidiaries, including MCI, are owned by Tosi Admi Mobin, mispronouncing that for sure, company has been closed links to Iran's IRGC. So at the end of the day, it seems like the Islam community is the one, from what I'm reading here, that is in charge. No vested interest in wanting to shut down the information on protests there. Iran previously cut off the internet access across several cities when the Popular Greens movement protest took place against what many would consider an unfair election in 2009, when hardliner incumbent president at the time, Mohammed Ahmadinejad, definitely pronouncing, won re-election. So why do I think CNN is going through and covering the pro-rally instead of the demonstrations? The regime. The regime that is currently in charge at the moment is a flashing on the screen regime, and CNN is very much in favor of this religion of peace. I'm trying not to say the word because I keep getting censored. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think they're showing the bright side, so to speak, of the religion of peace, because at the end of the day, they don't want people to see the negative side. It's the same thing. Everything CNN obviously puts out, you can always tell there's that sort of slant. They're always pro-Islam. So at the end of the day, yeah, I think they're sort of happy to go through and sort of push that narrative. At the end of the day, they don't want to talk about any of the civil rights violations or anything that happens under that regime, because then at the end of the day, that makes the religion look bad, and that affects their agenda, so to speak. But that's my understanding of it anyway. The problem is, mainstream media doesn't realise still that there's such a thing as called alternative media. Hi, that's us. And at the end of the day, anything that CNN goes putting out that's propaganda like this, we will just combat it, like we're doing right now. So at the end of the day, guys, obviously, please feel free to share this article. Let's get the word out there, and let's try and go through and combat this propaganda that they're pushing. Now, obviously, full disclosure, like I said earlier, it wasn't just CNN that went through and did this. There are a lot of mainstream articles that have tried to push this same narrative. In fact, I've done a simple search here and you can see the list. For example, news.trust.org obviously ran a story as well. Daily Read List also did it. Reuters also ran one as well. Like I say, obviously at the end of the day, pushing the same sort of agenda. So yeah, it looks like mainstream media basically was pushing it, and yeah, kind of makes sense, I suppose. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Why do you think CNN tried to push the pro-rally instead of demonstrations? And also, if you want more videos on this, let me know in the comment section below. I've put a few videos that I found on Twitter about the demonstration, showing you what's going on over there at the moment. If you like a full breakdown or something like that, let me know. Apart from that, guys, obviously if this video has been helpful, please smack a like. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. And apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great day and enjoy.